Alright, quick video today, and I want to talk about the 100th anniversary of Route 66. And I thought, hey, what a perfect way to, get a cancel or a stamp or whatever. I had recently picked these up at the post office. I've unfortunately used a couple. I don't really want to keep this as a collectible because that's, I don't know, whatever, 78 times this number is here. So it's like 11 bucks or something like that. 10 or 11 dollars. That's going to waste if I keep this. But there are people that are still looking for this. Some post offices don't have them. They've sold out. People are buying multiple copies of this. It's just a neat thing. Well, again, the unfortunate thing is that they have doubled up every single stamp here. So, it would have been nice if they had made one individual stamp for each sheet there, so you wouldn't have two. But I guess for those people who actually use these, it would be nice to have extras for those that you want to. And what do you do with this at the end here? Do you do something with this here? So it got me thinking, hey, are there any? There was an event, I guess, for Route 66, and the stamp event, and they had dignitaries, it's just stuff like that, and then cancellations, special, people made special event covers. This one somebody made to sell on eBay. It's just Bob's Big Boy, Route 66, and it was the first day of issue, May 5th. Well, it is already, 24th, May 5th, 2026, Phoenix, Arizona, with the whatever is on there. And so, my guess was trying to figure out, hey, is there still a way to get a cancel? They call this a one of one here. They hand drew this, put that on there. There's some other ones a little bit more, not YouTube friendly, but whatever, art. Anyway, the thing is that I'm looking around, seeing what I could find, and I'm looking for event covers. And then I'm looking at different events to see if I could find any places that, and it just really get out of the NASCAR race here. That's just but I was going to Route 66 post office and seeing what I could find there, and then so there might be, but any kind of consolidated information about Postmark, because usually I go to the Pictorial Postmark website, and that has had no traffic, no nothing. There was always people leaving comments and questions and things like that, and a list of all the different places across the United States that has special cancels, the ones that were always being canceled. So are there post offices on Route 66 that have special, or near Route 66 that have special cancellation marks that you can request or mail off to get those? And I found nothing. I mean, there's just a slew of stuff. So that's why I was going to eBay to see what people have. It's still fresh in everybody's mind. People are didn't know the post office Route 66 stamps, so there's a Facebook post about the stamps, and people posted that they couldn't get those. You could go get the first day covers at the USPS store, but for those people who are able to finally get these stamps, can't do anything with them as far as I can tell, or it's already been done, but the envelopes have not hit the eBay right now. They just USPS with stamps, they're just selling stamps, philatelic goodies, marks, just stamps. But I typed in post office, and I typed in postmarks here, and then I guess you can go and get a postmarked envelope from the post office there. I don't know how long those take to receive, so they're not very, very expensive to the post office, but you have to basically have an account or something, I don't know, whatever. I haven't bought anything from them in a long time. And you can't get those. Unfortunately, you can't buy the first day covers directly at your post office. I know our post office used to have a bunch of knickknacks and goodies, and all they have is greeting cards now, which is kind of frustrating. When I can get greeting cards at the Goodwill dump, for 5 cents or less, with the envelope, I'm not going to spend like $3 or $4 on a dumb greeting card that no one's going to read anymore, and then have to pay postage to get that sent off to somebody, So there's some sort of postmarkart.com, and so there are people, but we go back to eBay very quickly here, and I'll show you. So, and you got to be careful what you're looking at here, because, there's the one that's a little more or less inappropriate there. But anyway, this one here is from this is not a new one here. This is 1998 event cover. So, you know, that's not commemorating the 100th anniversary of Route 66 proper. So that's a 32-cent there, and it's got a person's address down there because they had it mailed direct to them. So unfortunately there is that one there, and that's, you know, they want $3 for that best offer. And you'd have to basically figure out some way to art something onto there and get rid of that, and then maybe throw like some sort of cool piece of something on here to make it look better. And this is what somebody did for this one here. Somebody got George Maharis from the TV show Route 66 or whatever it is, and got him to autograph that. But this is not a Route 66 cover. Basically what they did was they took a Memphis, Tennessee envelope. This was commemorating March or something, and there's like a sleigh envelope and first day of issue of this non-profit thing from Memphis, Tennessee. And I guess that maybe he was from Memphis. I have no idea where George Maharis was from, but to make a long story short, has nothing to do with Route 66, and they just printed that on there. Because what happens is you get a lot of these worthless envelopes that you couldn't gift away, and somebody wants $25 for it because George Maharis autographed it. So some person did TTM, and then they said, oh, just take this worthless envelope they got for free practically, or a quarter or something like that, maybe $1 at the most. They printed that on there afterwards, and then threw that on there, and that's what they did. And a lot of people are making, and I've made some, that sort of made sense. I made one for the Twilight, or not the Twilight Zone, one of those, you know, kind of creepy shows or whatever, and I used an old Project Mercury envelope, but it was the exact date there. You know, this is just from 1983. What does 1983 have to do with this particular thing at all? So you got to be careful what you're looking at. Only a couple more minutes here because I don't have a lot of camera today. And then, yeah, we looked at some of these here, and we'll just go back here to the actual listings that are for sale here. And what do we have here? What we want to do is first day. Route 66 first day, and you're not going to find very many at all. Eventually, you know, I don't know if the cancels are still going on, or you still can get those, or you have to order them, what's going on. So maybe in a month from now there might be, but there's only 9, and they're all getting bids. This person is the only person that has some sort of Route 66, you know, whether that's printed on there or that's actually a cancel that he actually got. This one I don't know. You know, you can actually make, you know, there's a lot of stamps that have pretend cancels on that. And so is that a real cancel? Again, somebody did art on these things and don't really know. There's another one of George Maharis cover, and he was in Route 66. But what that was for, it was just nothing. Just some sort of movie thing. I think that was for the silent movies. It doesn't make any sense. And then, or comedy, whatever. And then we got a Route 66 first day brochure. And this one here is $30. Okay, this is $30, and this is one of the new ones. This is the new stamp here. This is $30 again. There had to have been somewhere where you could have done this, but you might have actually had to mail your stuff there, and the window is probably closed. But I said I can't get that to that or anything, and somebody's asking $30 for that. That's way, way, way too much. But you see, there's not very many right now. The Ford Mustang, and is there a Ford Mustang on this one here? Don't see a Ford Mustang unless I've used it. And this might be for a previous event here, Diamond 2001. But somebody wants $80. Again, stamps are considered junk to people, but you know, there's a lot of valuable stamps out there. So anyway, that's what I have here. There's not much in the completed listings. I couldn't find anything about everything, so hope everybody enjoys that. Thank you for watching.